There are tens of millions of people around this country and truly around the world that are scratching their heads, asking themselves the question, how did Florida do it? How did the new sovereign Free Republic of Florida drive out the hordes, the scourge of the leftist progressive Democrat and take full command of their politics? Well, it comes down to something as simple as this. Those in charge in Florida have been able to be masters of both their mind and their heart. It's not that you shouldn't ever feel anything ever, which is what some people have alleged I've been trying to teach over at the Patreon channel. It's knowing the difference when to think and when to feel, and know when somebody is trying to get you out of your thinking brain and getting you to follow your heart when you shouldn't. Case in point. This goes all the way back to 22 June 2019. 2019. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' budget appropriates record amount of funding for environment. Now, some might go, wait a minute, really? Yes, that's right. The first thing the governor did, and it was even in his inauguration speech, is he took one of the big planks right out from under the left. You see, he took environmentalism and changed it back to what it originally was: conservation. Who remembers way back when it was called the conservation movement? Rangers talking about how to protect your environment and maintain it for the future. That was a very conservative thing to do. With the stroke of his pen, on Friday, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a state budget that appropriates the largest amount of funding for Everglades restoration and other environmental efforts in state history. Included in the $90.9 billion budget, that was, once again, 2019, for the fiscal year that begins July 1, is $682 million for Everglades restoration and water resource protection. Now, the left should have seen this and gone, wait a minute. What's this guy doing? Shows how smart he is. And he has slowly done this. Every issue that the left tries to call their own, Governor DeSantis has taken from them and moved it out of the realm of the heart and into the realm of the mind. Here are the actual fixes. Yes, it breaks our heart to see the environment destroyed. Yes, that's a bad feeling. Now, are we going to continue just to use our feelings to make the decision? No. We're going to shift over to our brain and then use our brain to make the fix. Now, if you would like to see a contrast to this that should terrify everyone, let's just go over to India. 17-story tall mountain of garbage spontaneously combusts during Indian heat wave 19 hours ago. In the midst of a scorching heat wave, a landfill in New Delhi, India, has spontaneously combusted, pouring toxic smoke into the air for 3 days. This is no ordinary landfill, per ABC. The dump is more of a garbage mountain, looming taller than a 17-story building and wider than 50 football fields. Yes, that's right. 240 feet tall, 73 meters, and 15,000 feet long, 4,572 meters, or 4.5 kilometers. Video taken from a nearby highway and shared on Reddit on Tuesday shows a towering inferno billowing toxic smoke into the air. You get this? Now, here's where you need to sit down. While hordes of motorists stop traffic to take in the spectacle, meaning sitting there in their gas-guzzling cars with no emissions controls, belching all sorts of garbage into the environment. You see, this is where the left needs to be focusing on if they want to talk about people destroying the environment. The fire reportedly began due to the spontaneous combustion of methane, CH4, a potent greenhouse gas released by decaying organic matter. In addition to occurring naturally underground, like is seen in the gates of hell. Those of you who don't know what that is, it's a fire that's been burning in Turkmenistan since 1971. Since 1971. Now, here's the part that should make everyone want to pull their hair out. When methane reaches a certain concentration, it may spontaneously explode in the presence of heat. Sadly, that means landfill fires like this are a common occurrence. Quote, "There's a fire every year." Byra Raj, a waste worker who lives next to the landfill, told ABC it is not new. There's a risk to life and livelihood, but what do we do? 3 other landfills around New Delhi have also caught fire in recent weeks. The landfill where the most recent fire ignited was planned for closure more than a decade ago, but more than 2,300 tons of garbage are added to the trash heap every year? No. Every day. Every day. These methane explosions were almost certainly triggered by the intense heat plaguing India in recent weeks. Now, here is where they go on and on and on and on about this and try to blame it on climate change. Hottest March on record, as if piling up giant stacks of garbage 17 stories tall and 4.5 kilometers long isn't some kind of a health risk and a disaster waiting to happen. We're just going to blame man-made climate change, which is what this article does. It's insane. Can you imagine something like this anywhere in the United States? Now, what is it? What's the big difference between Florida and New Delhi? Well, believe it or not, guys, sit down. It's called socialism. Oh, I knew that's what you were going to say, Mookie. You were going to take us there. Well, you see, India is unbridled capitalism. India is a place where business is the god. The making of profit is held above all else. They are the kings of the disposable economy. They throw shit and trash everywhere. It is one of the most disgusting, horrible places on earth. India. Overpopulated, filthy, nasty, disgusting. Now, we have capitalism, of course, in Florida. But what else do we have? We have good wisdom. We have 22 million people in this, what people call this tiny little state. People think it's overpopulated. I've shown videos where it's not. We have policies and laws put in place to protect forests, to protect the water, to protect the air, all of which goes directly against the idea of turning a profit. Businesses have to adhere to these laws. They can do this, but no more. They can't just go dump anything anywhere. And you can't pile up trash in Florida 17 stories tall and 4.5 kilometers long, and then when it kicks off a fire of biblical proportions, blame climate change. You see, that's where you have to do the dance. There has to be some of each. Am I totally against people going out and making a profit in capitalism? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I sell advertising time right here on this channel. But is that the answer? Is that the future? Should it be allowed to run and do whatever the hell it wants to do? No. You see, you have to have some temperance, some judgment, and some wisdom. Sometimes you have to do things that are bad for business, but good for the environment. Now, in Florida, we have the benefit of things being good for the environment, being great for tourism. Meaning when people come here and they see beautiful, pristine beaches and parks that are just absolutely gorgeous and have paths that are trash-free. and things are clean and the roads are well maintained. And it's a wonderful place to visit. That has the added effect of being extra good for business, even though sometimes business has to pay that cost to maintain all of that. And that's the balance. And that's why sometimes people say that certain conservatives aren't conservative enough because they're not pro-business enough, because they embrace things like, for example, having the first thing you do as governor appropriate record amounts of funding to protect the environment. See, a lot of people would have seen this at that time, way back 22 June, and said, oh, look, Governor DeSantis, he's one of those rhinos. Let's look, the first thing he's doing is he's doing what the left wants him to do. He's taking a whole bunch of money that should be going to promote business, and he's giving it to the environment. You see, that's what would have been said at that time. But look at the reality. It's about wisdom, and it's about judgment, and it's not always about doing what the party says to do. And I just wanted to show this contrast, because if you want unbridled capitalism, if you want the dollar to be the god, so to speak, and the acquisition of the dollar to be the god, please go visit India and see what happens. I don't know if you guys can see how tiny the people are compared to this mountain of burning hell that they've unleashed, and they unleash every year. Oh, but DeSantis is the problem. DeSantis is the problem. Unbelievable. So anyway, God bless. Have a great weekend. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.